So I just got to the hospital, checked in, got everything changed out, ready for surgery. It is about 6 a.m. right now. So I am a little nervous, but I have had surgery before, so it's not anything that I'm actually really scared of, but thankful, you know God has me in his hands and every surgeon and every tool. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated and I will try to record when I get out. But if not, I'll see you on the recovery side. Able to stand on my own. This is the day after surgery. I'm about to eat some sugar-free Jello and drink a little bit of coffee, black coffee, so that I can pass some gas. That's what they want me to do. I just went to the bathroom on my own. So yeah, I take a walk. They said I'm doing good. Good morning. So today is day 3 that I've been here in the hospital here at Nash Women's Center. I had my fibroid surgery on Tuesday. I had to be here at 5:45 a.m. and thank God that I was able to have this surgery before 2021 hit. Like, I did not want to take this fibroid with me to the next year because it has been painful, excruciating, to the point where, I would take myself to the emergency room just to get a Toradol shot. And, like, Tylenol didn't help it, Motrin didn't help it, those type of things, even the extra strength ones. But then also having this fibroid as it grew, I had like very heavy cycles, always having to pee everywhere I went. And it was just annoying, and lately, the last few months, I also had acid reflux a lot. I guess because it's something so big inside of you. I was initially told when I had MRI that there was possibly 8 of them, because I had one big one that was so big that they couldn't really see what was behind it, but they could see a few. But yeah, so I initially thought I had 8 or whatever, and June 2019, I went to the hospital for heavy bleeding and clotting that wouldn't stop. So I let's back up. Let's back all the way up. So let's begin how this started first of all. So in 2016, I was still living in Rocky Mount, and I was going to Englewood Ob-Gyn, and seeing Dr. Harris, and I was going for my PAP, and he told me that I had fibroids. At that point, I didn't have like any heavy cycles or anything that really made me think that I would have fibroids. I hadn't gained any weight to make me, look like something was growing there. So, he did tell me to get them checked out by ultrasound and everything. But shortly after he told me that, probably like a month or 2, I got a job offer in Raleigh. So I moved to Raleigh and I switched doctors, switched OBs. And then when I switched OBs, they never said anything about fibroids. Also, I didn't ask to be checked again, to see. But they also didn't tell me, you have fibroids or we feel something. So from the latter part of 2016 up until 2018, I didn't think I had fibroids anymore. And I remember having an interview with Tiara Bebbs. She also had them, and she is like a advocate for being fibroid free. Shout out to her. I'll definitely post her information here. She's a nutritionist as well. But I had an interview with her on her podcast, and I told her. She asked me did I still have fibroids, and I was like, I don't think I do. Like, my doctors, haven't said that I have them, and I wasn't having any crazy symptoms. But when 2018 hit, I was working, a physical job. Like, I work for the UPS store, and so I did like a lot of walking and moving and stuff like that. But I started to notice that my cycles were getting heavier. Like when the cycle time would come on for work, it was like really painful for me to stand up for long periods. But I was able to push through, and I did. Um, and so 2018, like I said, I'm still working. The cycles are getting heavier. Still not really thinking, oh, it could be these fibroids. Because I'm still seeing the same OB in Raleigh. Um, so fast forward to 2019. By 2019, my cycles are extremely heavy, very painful, almost to the point where I can't work when they come on. Um, like I said, still seeing the same OB up until June 2019. I had to go to emergency room because I would not stop bleeding. I was actually clotting, like clots about this big constantly. Um, but the crazy thing was I wasn't in any pain. Like I was just continuously bleeding. So I went to weight med, and during that time they also told me your blood sugar is like 300 and something. I'm like, what? Like, what does that even mean? And so um, they continued to check it over the time that I was there. I ended up having to go to the bigger weight med hospital because I needed more care from the bleeding and then my blood sugars being high because I went to like one of the little walk-in clinic things. So they ended up keeping me overnight or whatever. There I was clarified diabetic. Then as well, they told me that the fibroid um, was huge. It was 12 centimeters. Um, and they talked to me about surgery and everything, but they asked me about the option of trying to shrink the fibroid before we went in for surgery. Obviously, me not ever having this type of thing, I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, let's see if we can shrink it, before I go in for, this is actually major surgery. So, um, so they gave me a Lupron shot, and what Lupron does is it's supposed to shrink the fibroid, but it also puts your body in a fake menopause state. So, like, you won't have any cycles. Like, I didn't have cycles for 3 months because that's how long the shot lasts, for 3 months. You get menopause symptoms such as like hot flashes and um, what else? Like, just anything that you feel like when women say they're in menopause, like that's how I felt. But it was so great because I didn't have a cycle for 3 months, and it was during the summertime. So, but yeah, my cycle ended up coming back 3 months later, and I went for a checkup, and it had not shrunk at all. It didn't do anything. The only thing it did was my cycles before that were like 5 days, and then after the Lupron shot, they were like 3 days. But they got more excruciating, like super excruciating. So by this time, June, July, August, September, we're like in September now of 2019. So excruciating cycles. I've been clarified as diabetic. They tried to put me on metformin for the diabetes or whatever, but I didn't like that. It didn't work with my stomach, so I regulated it through diet. Um, and I think a few months later, when I went back, my A1C was a 6 or 6.5, something like that, but I was considered pre diabetic then. So the doctor didn't say anything all the way up until 2020, probably up until, was that like August or September? My blood sugar started to run high again. Just out of nowhere or whatever. Wait, let me back up. So okay, so June 2019, I went to the hospital for the fibroids and the clotting and stuff like that. Clarified that I'm diabetic. So I had to follow up with the OB in Raleigh, and we wanted to talk about surgery. Her thing was to make sure my blood sugar levels were great, and to get them down and consistent or whatever. And um, so with this doctor, she initially she talked good, but she wasn't really trying to like follow up with me and try to get me back in and see about things. And, and it goes both ways from the patient and the doctor. Um, so it was like a prolonged process of me seeing if I was going to be able to get surgery, the earlier part of 2020, and it didn't happen. So then I switched to another doctor at that same OB, and he was great. And he was speedily trying to get me to get surgery. By this time, this is the latter part of 2020. Like I said, it was August or September. My blood sugar started running high again, like 300s and close to 400. Like it was crazy, and I hadn't changed my diet drastically or anything ever since like I had first been clarified diabetic. Like I wasn't eating crazier, I wasn't even eating any better. Like just nothing changed, so I didn't understand why my blood sugars were so high out of nowhere. But then I thought about it. I realized that my body is super sensitive to stress, like mental stress. And during those months is when like right before August, I was planning for my boutique that I opened. Shout out to Nova 9. Make sure you go and check out my store. But I was planning for my boutique. You know, earlier that year, I had quit my job because they tried to demote me. Um, or earlier the year before 2019, I quit my job. So ever since then, I've been trying to figure out what to do with my life and how to make ends meet, how to get back on my feet. And that's a lot of stress, a lot of constant stress. And it's easy for somebody to say, don't worry about it, da da da. But when you want to have success for yourself, when you want to have good income and a quality state of life, you cannot stop thinking about it. And it's different when you don't have a job and you've applied for jobs and you couldn't get them and you don't understand why and things aren't working and you've tried some things and maybe it's not the right fit. So by this time, since March 2019 of quitting my job, like I said, we are in August of 2020. By this time, my stress level is sky high because this has been over a year of struggling, been over a year of, you know, also these fibroids that hinder your life. So you try to pick things or jobs that you can try to get that will work around your cycles. By this time, I wasn't able to work. If I had got a job, I wouldn't be able to work during my cycle because they were so painful. So the stress of that, trying to figure out what type of job or what type of creative endeavor I could come up with, and trying to, like I said, get back on my feet and stress. Like my sugar levels were through the roof. Like I could walk, I could eat a salad, I could do all those things, but it would not come down. And like I said, they were 300 and 400. So the doctor, my doctor that handles my diabetic stuff, she claimed that it was because of me eating something constantly that's not good. But like I told her, my sugar levels, I mean, my eating habits hadn't changed. I told her it had to be my stress. Like I was extremely stressed. And she didn't believe it or whatever, which is understandable. A lot of doctors think that or whatever. So she put me on insulin. I had to give myself an insulin shot every day. Um, 30 units is what I had to give myself. Um, but after about a month on insulin, my blood sugar levels regulated again. It was like a miracle. It was like waking up 1 week before and your blood sugar levels are like 300 and 400, and then the next week your blood sugar levels are like constantly in the hundreds. And I was like, what? And I thought about it. My mental stress had come down because I had found out about brows and stuff like that. And I don't know if you all know, but I just finished training as a PMU artist, so I can actually do micro shading now. So things started coming together in my mind of how I could get myself back on my feet, how my life could get better, and my stress levels went down because I found something that I love. I found an industry that I love, and it wasn't stressing me out trying to figure out what to do. And so blood sugar is regulated. I also take Ceylon cinnamon. It's the true cinnamon. I take it in a capsule form. I take the cinnamon out of the capsule and put it in water. And it has also helped tremendously with blood sugar levels. Um, so I know you're like, okay, what about the fibroid? But anyway, so she put me on insulin. Blood sugar levels came down. The insulin did help. My stress levels also came down. All right, so now my blood sugars, like I said, are in the hundreds. Um, in November, I was finally cleared for surgery because my blood sugar levels were down. So praise God, I was cleared for surgery. Because if you have high blood sugar levels and you go into any type of surgery, you are at risk for infection. Okay, so if you're thinking about having a surgery and you have high blood sugars or you don't even know about your sugars, make sure you have them checked. Make sure they're under control. And that's the same for like getting a tattoo. If you have diabetes or anything like that, you want to get a tattoo. Make sure your blood sugar levels are in control because you are at risk for an infection. So okay, so November, get I got cleared for surgery. My blood sugar level, my blood sugar A1C was an 8, and that's what the doctor said it had to be in order for me to be approved for surgery. It was 8. So that was in November. I also went to train in Atlanta for PMU to be a PMU artist in November. That same week, I got all the information that I was cleared, went for training, things were great. But I was also nervous, like, oh my God, like, this is November. This is a lot of stuff happening by the end of the year, going to train, trying to start another business, trying to manage my current business, preparing for surgery, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot. But now we are in December, December 15th, 5:45. Like I said, I was here for surgery to remove the fibroids. A few weeks prior, I had got an MRI done. I do not ever want one of those again. That's horrible. They put you in your whole body in this tubular thing, and I had to be in there for like 45 minutes, and you cannot move. So prepare yourself if you ever had to get one of those. Um, but um, when I was cleared for surgery, a few months before that, I forgot to say, I did start going back to my OB that was in Rocky Mount, Dr. Harris. He was the one that initially told me that I had fibroids um, back in 2016. So I was like, okay, you know, he's the one that originally told me. I know he's a great doctor. He's very knowledgeable. Um, and let me go back to him to see about surgery. So I did. He was ready for things, he also had told me make sure my blood sugar levels are cleared for, and he got this show on the road, you know. Him and the whole Englewood Ob-Gyn team, thankful for them and their help. But yeah, so I was cleared here, had the surgery. Coming in for the surgery, I was nervous, but I knew because I've had surgery before that once you put on anesthesia, like you're gonna be out, So um, it took them. I think I ended up going into surgery at about I think 9:30. They said so 9:30. I was in there. My mom said I didn't come out until 1, and while I was in there, they ended up removing 6 fibroids. I ended up having 6, not 8. So I had 6 fibroids. I have one really massive one. I'm gonna show it. Beware, this is graphic, so if you don't like graphic images of like surgeries and stuff like that, you might want to fast forward. So they removed the 6 fibroids. Um, while I was in the operating room, I had to have 2 blood transfusions because I was losing a lot of blood. Um, okay. So yeah, the size of the fibroid that I had was massive. On the picture, you'll see it looks like a newborn baby, that size, and then I had 5 more, including that. So that was why I was always in so much pain, having the acid reflux. Obviously, something is in you, so how can you keep food down like that? And then um, also the pressure on my bladder, always having to use the bathroom. And then my cycles would come on. What happens is I think your uterus contracts against the fibroids, so that's where that pain comes from, and it was so excruciating that I had to walk bent over. Found myself wearing mostly black clothes over the last year, and wearing t-shirts more and like sweatpants type stuff. Haven't really been that fashionable person like I've always been, um, because of also feeling tired. You just don't feel like doing all that stuff or taking long walks. To go on outings and things like that. So it really altered my life, altered my social life. Um, but they are out now. Like I said, I had 2 blood transfusions from losing so much blood. Um, but everything is good. My blood count is good. I haven't had to have a blood transfusion since I've been out. My pain level out of a 1 to 10 has generally, the most it's been, I would say, is like a 7. Um, and they have me on oxycodone and Motrin, extra strength Motrin. They were giving me Toradol because that's like the best thing that helps me. It's like if you can get Toradol. And when they gave it to me through the IV through the bag, it's great because it doesn't burn or anything like that. If you ever get a Toradol shot, it is gonna sting. It's gonna burn probably. But what happened was they also had a catheter um, in me through my vagina. And so when I came out of surgery, I felt like I was on fire, felt like I couldn't pee. And the lady was like, "You're peeing." And I was like, "I can't pee," or whatever. And it was just horrible. And so I had to get adjusted to having the catheter in. I had that in from surgery time at 9 something until the next morning at 6 a.m. Okay, so um, having that in allowed me to just lay here and be able to use the bathroom, pee through the catheter. Initially, like I said, it was uncomfortable, but then you get used to it. Like you don't even feel it. Um, so they had me hooked up to IV. I was getting Toradol through the IV bag and oxycodone, so really wasn't feeling a lot of pain. Um, when they took the catheter out, that meant that yes, I had to get up now. So before that, I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom or do anything, walk on my own. So when they took the catheter out, that meant I had to pee. I got to go on my own. So 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. that next morning, obviously I was going to have to use the bathroom. So it was my first time getting up. Went to the bathroom. I can't remember if anybody helped me or not. Um, but it wasn't a bad walk because I'm on meds, so the bathroom is like right there, and use the bathroom on my own. Like your muscles are gonna be kind of tight, but don't push it or anything. Just let it flow. And that's what I did, and I've been going to the bathroom on my own. At first, they were tracking that, um, but then they stopped tracking it. So once I started going to the bathroom on my own, they took the IV bag out, and I just have IV in my hand. And so, what I was going to say about the Toradol is if you get Toradol through IV like this, where it's going straight in, like, or whatever, through your hand, that mess will burn. Like, if you don't get a good nurse that knows how to do it and really dilute it and go slow with it, it's gonna burn. Like, it's gonna burn your vein. So that happened twice, and I was like, no more Toradol if I'm gonna get it through this. I'll rather take it through a shot, like a needle shot, even though it's gonna sting or burn. But the burning through the IV, oh my God, I can't take it. So, and which Motrin and Toradol are like the same things. That's what they say. The Motrin's in a pill form that they've been giving me, and the Toradol was, like I said, through IV or a shot. But I feel like Toradol works way better than Motrin, but they are both great. Um, there is, after the surgery, there has been some bleeding. They said I still could bleed, up to 6 weeks or whatever, but it's not anything heavy. It's really light. Something I don't care about. I'd rather have them out than, if I have to wear pad or whatever for weeks, I'm good, you know, as long as I'm so thankful that they're out. But like I said, my pain level hasn't been crazy. As long as you don't let your pain meds wear off and you don't take anything, you should be fine. The second day that I was here, Wednesday, I walked the lap around because they want you to walk, they want you to get up, get those muscles moving, get the, you know, everything going in your body so you're not stiff and, you know, you can get the healing activated and stuff like that. So I took a lap. That wasn't bad because I was on meds, took baby steps. And then later on that evening on Wednesday, late, I took another 2 laps around. So I think I had like 840 some steps the second day between, you know, having 1 lap way earlier that day and then 2 the next. And so I've been trying to walk as much as I can. Not overdoing, not like you about to go out here and try to be walking like you trying to lose weight, but just baby steps to get your body from being stiff, to move any gas, you know, to try to form a bowel movement. And that's another thing. Like Dr. Harris, he wanted me to stay here. The reason why I'm still in the hospital is because he wanted to make sure that I could easily have a bowel movement on my own and pass gas, because if you're not doing that, then that could be a serious problem. Yesterday, I was able to do both. I had to get a little help with the suppository, but I did have bowel movement. I'm taking some walks in the hall. Hopefully, I can pass some gas because that's what I may be able to do. Taking walks now. Else. Today, I should be going home. So today is day 3. I have switched from broth and water to eating some soft and solid foods. Last night I had green beans, mashed potatoes, and a little piece of chicken, probably about this big, a little piece of grilled chicken, just to say, that didn't have like any of all that crazy seasoning on it or anything. And I did good. I've been eating unsweetened applesauce, been doing good with that. So solid foods and soft foods gradually have been doing good, but I don't want to get back to anything no crazy eating that fast. Like my boyfriend and my cousin have already made me homemade soups for when I get home, so I can have that to eat. So thank you for that. Also, too, if you do have this surgery, my prep was 2 days, and what I had to do was I had to have no solid foods, only liquids for 2 days. And because of my diabetes, I could do like smoothies and stuff up until the second day, until 6 p.m. So like I had green smoothie with oatmeal in it and almond milk, banana, and it's like strawberry. So I had that smoothie and coconut flakes. I don't know if that was a good idea, even though it was a smoothie, because um, I had to also take magnesium citrate that first prep day, and it wasn't moving or whatever. And so I also had chicken broth, the Weiler's chicken cubes. They come in cubes or whatever, and you can just put it in your water, boiling water, and it makes like a broth. And those were the best ones I have tried. Um, I've tried a few others, but those are the best ones. Get that. That'll get you full. It's warm and it's pretty good. So I had to do that, and I could only drink um, liquids that were clear, nothing purple, nothing red. So I did that for 2 days. Second day, I finally started to move because I had to do another magnesium citrate the second day, um, and everything. And then the night before surgery, after 12, I could have nothing, no water, nothing, like no juice, none of that. So yeah, that was prep. It was kind of tough. I think it would have been easier for somebody who wasn't considered diabetic, because you could still have like soda or juice that's sugary, or I had Jello, but I had sugar-free Jello, so popsicles, you can do those type of things. So it was a little bit harder for me because I didn't want my sugar to go up. I was very strict about my sugar not going up before surgery. So yeah, so that was prep or whatever. But the good news about this surgery is that the doctor here that was telling me about my diabetes stuff, he said, I don't understand why you're on insulin. Mind you, I haven't taken my insulin since Saturday. It is now Friday. Um, and that's because it hasn't been going up. Even before that, I would take my insulin and it would drop me so low because it wasn't high. And the only reason I would take it is because, it's a doctor's order. But I was like, there's no need for me to take this if it's not high and I'm taking it and making myself feel worse and then I gotta try to get it back up. Like it's just like a cycle that isn't good. So, because last few months my sugars have been running like 100s, like one at the highest probably like 170, like. But so yeah, like he told me, he's like, I don't understand why you're on insulin and your A1C is a 6. A 6 is either pre-diabetic or not diabetic. I'm not sure. But he was like, you don't need it. And ever since I've been here, like I have had like some sugary juice, because one of the nights the nurses tried to help me to get a bowel movement started, so she made me this juice, and it had like apple juice, grape juice, diet ginger ale, prune juice, and something else, and it tastes like a grape lollipop or whatever. And sugar didn't go up. I have unsweetened applesauce that, even though it's unsweetened, it's still sugary. Um, but yeah, so I had that drink and it didn't set me up. Um, and I've had a few other sugary things and it has not set me up. So he was just saying he doesn't understand why I'm on insulin. My A1C is a 6. So he told me don't take my insulin unless I feel like I really, really need it, because it's just a cycle of me taking it when I don't need it and it takes me down. So um, I was like, that's a big blessing, because like he's the first doctor to ever really say that and to also agree with me on the cinnamon that I take, that it's really good. And he believed that my fibroids had a connection to like the diabetes and stuff, which I believe too. And I prayed before this surgery. I said, God, when these fibroids are gone, the diabetes have to go with it. Like I don't have that anymore. So I am fibroid free and I am diabetic free. My pancreas is working and pumping all the insulin it needs on its own. So I am so happy. And another thing, like even before this surgery, I got a call from pre-registration, and they were talking to me about my insurance, and they said, this is fully paid for. You don't owe us anything. Only thing you might have to pay is the anesthesiologist bill. I was like, what? Like God is just blowing my mind. So I'm just so thankful, that I was able to get this surgery. There's always trials or tests with anything you do. I did get anxious yesterday. I had a lot of anxiety. I was here by myself, because of COVID now, if you have one visitor who comes with you, they can be your only visitor the whole time. My mom had to go to work, which I understand. So, Handy couldn't come or whatever. Nobody else could come visit. So I was here by myself, and then, this is the longest I've ever been in the hospital. So what I say, this is 3 days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days now. 4 days, longest I've been in the hospital. But, I had a lot of crying episodes yesterday. But, I had to realize that God is keeping me. Dr. Harris just wants the best for me, and, he's a great doctor, and he's going to make sure I'm good before he sends me home. So I'm very thankful of that. Um, the nurses have been great here at Nash Women's Center. Um, but yeah, so I should be going home today. They still want to just make sure that I'm passing gas and everything. But yeah, like I also, even though I could have got the Toradol, still, before up until I go home, I didn't want to continue to take that because I'm not going to be able to get Toradol at home. So I wanted to get my body adjusted to the type of pain medicine that I'll be able to take while I'm at home and not feel like, oh my God, like at the hospital, I hardly feel any pain. When I got home, I only have this medicine and I feel it more. So, but yeah, I'm able to walk, able to do stuff. I didn't think I would be, but everybody's different. Everybody's healing experience is different. Um, can't drive it or anything like that. Can't do any like lots of bending down and things like that. But if I need to walk to go to the bathroom or walk to go get something out of the refrigerator or something like that, I can do that. And I've taken 3 laps already this morning, so that was good. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to get as much rest as I can because in this hospital I have not gotten any rest hardly. Just because when you're in your own home, you're more comfortable. But here in the hospital bed, it's not the most comfortable thing. Um, but yeah, I'm actually getting tired now from the oxy. It makes you tired. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna close this out, and I will keep you guys updated on how I'm healing. And I was closed up with staples. They did do a vertical incision, starting from below my belly button, right above where my hairline down there starts. Um, so yeah, I don't care about an incision line because hey, I'd rather have these things out than be like, no, I don't want an incision line, you know. But so yeah, I did get I think I got a laparotomy, and that's where they do have to open you up because fibroid is so big, but it was not a big line or anything. Let's see if I can show. I can kind of see where the start of it is. So just imagine that all the way down, those little staples. But yeah, so on to healing. Yeah, I have to follow up with Dr. Harris, and he will take the staples out. But yeah, I'm gonna close this out now. I'm pretty tired. Gonna get some rest. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the thumbs up. And if you have any questions, don't feel hesitant to ask me. I want to inform anybody and everyone that I can about this surgery, even if it's so personal. Message me on Instagram and we can talk. I'm not an expert, I just know my story. And yeah, but I can also ask Dr. Harris. He's supposed to be, we're going to try to get him to sit down with my friend Tiara and her group. She has about fibroids and nutrition to just give some more insight and helpful tips and stuff like that. So stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.